My name is Chris Caulfield, and I currently serve as the principal of St. Peter's Prep. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 147th commencement of St. Peter's Prep and to be the first to officially congratulate you this morning. We are about to begin our commencement exercises, so I ask all to please be seated now. It is my pleasure to welcome so that all can enjoy the ceremonies, we ask that everyone please observe a few simple courtesies. Congratulate you this morning. These courtesies are not intended to put a damper on our celebration, but to maintain a spirit of joyful dignity throughout the program. First and foremost, please remain at and in your seats. Remember, everyone here this morning has someone they have come to see and applaud. Taking pictures or recording the proceedings are encouraged, but please do not distract or block the view of others. In addition to causing viewing problems for others, it can be unsafe. Out of respect for others, we ask that all cell phones and mobile devices be silenced now until our exercises conclude. Your program includes an overview of today's ceremony. In addition to causing viewing problems for others, one last thing for any fathers, brothers, and grandfathers who will be conferring diplomas up here with us, we just ask that you simply watch for your family member as he exits his row, and then you can walk up to the stage with him or meet him at the stage to my left here, and then we'll get everything going, so that shouldn't be too difficult. Thank you for your attention and cooperation, and please enjoy the 147th commencement of St. Peter's Preparatory School. In a few moments, the graduates, along with faculty and staff, will process in, and we will begin the program. Thank you. And then we'll get everything going, so that shouldn't be too difficult. Thank you for your attention and cooperation, and please enjoy the 147th commencement of St. Peter's Preparatory School. In a few moments, the graduates, along with faculty and staff, will process in, and we will begin the program. Thank you. And then we'll get everything going, so that shouldn't be too difficult. Thank you for your attention and cooperation, and please enjoy the 147th commencement of St. Peter's Preparatory School. In a few moments, the graduates, along with faculty and staff, will process in, and we will begin the program. Thank you. And then we'll get everything going, so that shouldn't be too difficult. Thank you for your attention and cooperation, and please enjoy the 147th commencement of St. Peter's Preparatory School. In a few moments, the graduates, along with faculty and staff, will process in, and we will begin the program. Thank you. Good morning and welcome. This morning's commencement marks the 147th time that St. Peter's Prep has gathered to award diplomas. And it provides me with one last opportunity on behalf of the entire prep community to thank our graduates and their families for giving us the privilege of being part of their lives for the past 4 years. Our program today begins in prayer. Prep's Director of Campus Ministry, Dr. Susan Woolever, will give our invocation. In a moment, I will ask all to please stand for our prayer and afterward to remain standing for the playing of our national anthem by the award-winning Prep Band and Vox. Dr. Woolever.
Good morning. What an honor it is to be standing before you, St. Peter's Prep's class of 2025 and families. In my first year as director of campus ministry, you all were sophomores, and likely you and your parents found yourself bombarded by emails from me about your sophomore retreat, koinonia. Koinonia is translated from a Greek word that means fellowship. Aristotle and then the early Christian church wrestled with this notion of koinonia in their pursuits of nurturing a good community. Koinonia as a social and political ideal includes partnership, reciprocity, and belonging. On your sophomore retreat, inspired by this concept of koinonia, we reflected on the question, am I my brother's keeper? We talked about what makes it hard to be kind to each other, about whether or not everyone feels safe in our community, and about how we can strive to be better keepers of our community. This kind of community is nurtured by a deep love and commitment to see each other and to see ourselves as worthy of love. Graduates, my greatest desire for you is for you to know that you are seen by me, by God, and by all of us here. You are worthy of love and well loved. Your greatness can and will help us grow into a more authentic world, reaching for koinonia. So we begin in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear God, what an honor it is to be in community and on the road with these young persons, Prep's class of 2025. You have journeyed with them thus far on their road and provided them with companions through their friends, families, teachers, and coaches. Let our time of celebration this morning be a moment in their life story that they can return to and remember how loved they are, that you see them, how far they have already come, and that they are brave, capable, and leaders for change. We give you our time this morning and the future of these graduates, inviting your presence to be known, for our hearts to be open to experiencing only goodness, and for our words and actions to be glorifying to you. St. Ignatius of Loyola, St. Peter, amen.
Please stand. Thank you.
Christ
You may be seated. Again, it is my great honor to preside at these 147th commencement exercises of St. Peter's Preparatory School. Let's start the proceedings with a few introductions. I'm joined today on stage from your left to right by Ms. Dalma Santana, Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Dr. Susan Woolever, Director of Campus Ministry, Reverend Jose Luis Lito Salazar, Society of Jesus, Director of Ignatian Identity, Dr. Michael A. Gomez, Class of 1991, President, Mr. Brian Archer, Class of 1986, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Jeffrey Hartling, a member of the Theology Department who will deliver the address to the graduates later in the program, Mr. John Morris, Dean of Students, and Ms. Kimby Heil, our Assistant Principal. To my right and left are PREP's distinguished faculty, administration, and staff. We also welcome members of the Board of Trustees seated to my left. And by far, the most important people here today, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the class of 2025. By many standards, the class of 2025 is an exceptional one for us here at St. Peter's. For members of the faculty, staff, and administration, particularly those who have been at Prep for some time, each class has a personality, a spirit, and a style all its own. Challenged as you were by the global COVID-19 pandemic and adjusting to a return to full-time schooling in your freshman year, you nonetheless demonstrated remarkable resilience as you navigated these challenges while entering a new school. The young men of the class of 2025 embody all that Jesuit education looks to foster. They are open to growth, intellectually competent, religious, loving, and committed to doing justice. To begin our program this morning, we would like to acknowledge the academic achievements of the members of the class of 2025. We are particularly proud of the 89 members of this class who are graduating today with honors. Actually, sorry, that number is higher. It's 103. Today with honors, 3.7 or higher, which is cum laude, or high honors, 4.0 and over, which will be designated as magna cum laude, for maintaining a superior grade point average over their 4 years at Prep. This is noted in the program and today as the graduates are recognized on stage. Those students will be designated cum laude or magna cum laude as they are called. In a moment, I will ask Ms. Kimby Heil, our Assistant Principal, and Mr. John Morris, our Dean of Students, to announce a number of special awards. Each recipient should stand at his place or come forward as directed by Ms. Heil or Mr. Morris. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Heil.
The National Merit Scholarship Competition acknowledges the academic achievement of high school students based on PSAT results. Only the top 5% of the more than 1.5 million high school students eligible for National Merit Scholarships are recognized by that organization each year. Prep is extremely proud to have 12 students who are commended in the 2025 National Merit Scholarship Competition. Please hold your applause until the entire roster has been called. I ask the following students to stand for recognition: Raven Sirio, Andre Concepcion, Henry Eig, Isaac Holland, Owen Maher, Maxwell Middleton, Lucas Mira McKenzie, Gavin Moreno, Evan Nguyen, Kyle O, Felix Puig Cepalion, Connor West. In addition, 2 students have been awarded the 2025 National Merit Scholarship. Gavin Gerstenbluth and Jean O, please stand. Congratulations. Thank you, gentlemen. St. Peter's Prep has joined with the Jesuit Schools Network to recognize this student as an Ignatian Global Scholar among this year's graduating classes at Jesuit high schools in North America. Through a combination of coursework and co-curricular activities, Global Scholars are those who continuously seek to deepen their awareness of their place and responsibility in an increasingly interconnected world, both locally and globally. Those who stand in solidarity with others in the pursuit of a sustainable earth and more humane world as true companions in the mission of reconciliation and justice are recognized by PrEP and the Jesuit School Network. This year, we are proud to bestow this honor on one member of the class of 2025. Roy Liu, please stand to be recognized. Finally, I call your attention to the program, which indicates the 103 members of the senior class who were nominated by our faculty to the National Honor Society, as well as members of the Science Honor Society and the Language Honor Society. They were chosen because of their past, present, and expected future demonstration of outstanding scholarship, character, leadership, and service. Congratulations to each of them. Members of NHS, Science NHS, and Language Honor Societies, please stand to be recognized. Thank you, gentlemen. Further academic awards will be announced when the diplomas are conferred. I now invite Mr. John Morris.
At PrEP, we talk frequently about educating the whole person, putting a premium on achieving excellence in all we do, and recognizing God in all things. Those who combine excellence in academics and athletics model a great commitment and enthusiasm for life both inside and outside of the classroom, refusing to compromise their pursuit of excellence in any way. For participating in one or more varsity sports while maintaining a cumulative GPA of 3.7 or higher, thus graduating with honors, we are pleased to recognize the following seniors with the St. Peter's Prep Scholar Athlete Award. Please stand as your name is called, and please hold your applause until all recipients have been recognized. Luca Barone, Douglas Bauman, Luca Blake, Thomas Blunda, Austin Bettino, David Capo, Raven Sirio, Anthony DeFilippis, Alexander Delano, Michael Florentino, Connor Fojas, Finn Getz, Mackenzie Gibbons, Michael Granda, Emmett Hockney, Philip Heides, Jacob Holicki, Maxwell Huang, Yassine Jabala, Ryan Lee, Axel Martinez, Peter McLaughlin, Owen Maher, Noah Mendoza, Maxwell Middleton, Lucas Mira McKenzie, Daniel Nemeth Surdai, Maxwell Nevlin, Simon Newhouse, Jean O, Kyle O, Roman Popowski, Aiden Pruker, Connor Reynolds, Caden Ricciardi, Declan Schultz, Jack St. Ledger, Anil Ward, Alicia Wasden, Abraham Went, Connor West, and George Zucchino. Additionally, we are pleased to recognize Jason Peterson and Emmett Hockney, who are the recipients of the 2025 Hudson County Interscholastic Athletic League Scholar Athlete Award. And at the state level, the 2025 New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association Award was given to Emmett Hogney. At this time, we present 2 awards in memory of prep alumni who distinguished themselves as scholar athletes. John McGovern, who died in 1988, was an extremely well-liked and respected member of the class of 1980. He was especially admired for his leadership and his dedication to the spirit of teamwork that he brought daily to the prep basketball program. A number of his classmates created this award to be presented annually to an athlete who best exemplified those attributes. This year, we are pleased to present the John McGovern Award to Eric Porch. Come on up, Eric. Jeff Caulfield, a late member of the class of 1989, was an honor student and 4-year athlete who competed in our baseball program. Jeff was a fierce competitor whose perseverance, commitment, and leadership embodied a true prep student athlete. This award in his name is presented to that prep student athlete who most exemplified the traits and qualities that made Jeff such a respected member of our school community. And this year, the Caulfield Memorial Student Athlete Award is presented to Ray Stein. Come on up, Ray. You're okay, buddy.
Congratulations to these and all of our graduates on their achievements. At this point, I am pleased to introduce our speaker for the class of 2025. A native of Greenville in Jersey City, New Jersey, Evan Nguyen came to prep from Academy 1 Middle School. He has been a Sheehan Scholar and consistent honors student throughout his time at prep, as well as being involved in the campus ministry team, Vox, Sleep Out, Mission Drive committees, Science Honor Society, Spanish National Honor Society, and the National Honor Society. He has also served as a leader for our community, as a student life intern, SPPAC president, esports team captain, and Asian Society's creative director. Next year, he will be attending Princeton University. Yeah, that's right. Come on up. Please join me in welcoming our speaker for the class of 2025, Evan Nguyen.
Dr. Gomez, Mr. Caulfield, Mr. Archer, members of the Board of Trustees, administration, faculty and staff, family, friends, and the graduating class of 2025. Thank you for the honor and the privilege of speaking here today. Thank you for being the group of people whom I could truly call brothers and sisters for life, my companions on the journey. And thank you for the best 4 years of my life. Now, as some of you may know, I'm pretty into music. I feel like my ears ring whenever there's anything reminiscent of a string on the violin or a note on the piano. And every day at prep, there's one sound that I've always been particularly drawn to, the familiar sound of the bell. And for those who are wondering, because I know you all are, the bell rings in the C5 pitch at about 45 beats per minute. Such a simple 3 beats, yet it somehow holds the power, the aura, to control us all. As soon as we hear that piercing C note, we move, stand up, and head out of the classroom, searching for what is next. It's a movement, a transition, a step into the unknown, as we check Power School to figure out what class we have next. To me, this is what I posit as the greater perhaps, taking that next step despite not knowing where we're heading. However, I feel like our bells ring even before Jackson and Ledger's warm greeting on the loudspeaker at 8:05 a.m. They ring from the rush of students flowing out of Exchange Place when the light rail is miraculously on time. They ring on the lines at legal grounds when Abe Went is clutching the usual 2 sandwich order. And they ring on the morning car rides down the lovely Grand Street traffic. Even though we all come from different places, from 5-minute walks to prep, to hours-long commutes on NJ Transit, we all end up convening here, within the sacred space of prep, where under the shadow of the St. Peter statue, we are driven to answer the call of that same morning bell. This bell marks the beginning, sure, but it also marks the mystery in the day ahead of us. This is our first perhaps. The first 2 periods often set the tone for the day. Sometimes they're filled with purpose. I feel like my soul is rejuvenated whenever I hear Miss Devon's singing bowl in the morning, and other times they're riddled with pressure. There's the intimidating trek to reach the 4th floor of the English building for Mr. Geary's class, or the panic when we realized the Exchange Place ladder was in fact not on time. But instead within these moments was the impetus to learn, to laugh it off and adjust, to really be open to growth. We keep going. We hear the bell and choose to move on and learn. Then comes community period, carrying an allure that drew us to the cookies in the commons and the couches of the campus ministry lounge. Sometimes, though, that allure was shattered by the realization of a penning makeup quiz or an appearance on Miss Maria's community period list. But regardless, I feel like community period is where I truly felt community the most. United under our club meetings during activity periods, or the massive lines for the dress-down wristbands. Not every community period is the same, and it was a time to choose how we spend our time, a freedom that is our second perhaps. Of course, there's lunch. And the moment we hear that resonant C5 from the bell comes the inevitable sprint to Pizzeria Las Americas before the line gets too long, or for the more bold, the trek to Bobboy and Chipotle, a rite of passage for us seniors. Yet, no matter where we went, the beloved lunch period also has its non-negotiables. It was a time when we slowed down, had moments and experiences grounded in conversation, maybe even shared a fry or two with Ayush. Oftentimes, these interactions with Carver Brotherhood meant to last, even after the bell. By 5th and 6th period, the day would often grow heavy, unless, of course, you had the coveted double last free. Sometimes we zoned out, counting the minutes left on the clock and letting senioritis hit hard. Yet, the bell kept us moving, and prep taught us to show up and stay locked in, doing everything, even if we don't feel like it. That's the Magis. And finally, there's the bell that releases us after school. This is when Vox and Robotics are refining their craft for their upcoming concert and competition. This is when the student section roars, whether in soccer games against Kearney or basketball games against Hudson Catholic. This is when those final jugs are redeemed, folding the chairs in the gym after an assembly. This is when we go our separate ways, leaving the sacred space behind and pursuing our own journeys, some with our companions, some without. This is our third perhaps, when our schedule ends, leaving behind the bell and attaining the freedom to choose what comes next. And that's it. Rinse and repeat. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, A-Day, B-Day, C-Day. There's an inherent cyclical nature rooted in our lives, our schedules, and even in the lovely 3-beat bell. Yet, it wasn't a mundane repetition that epitomized our time here, but rather what to do with our time every day. The first perhaps pushes us to show up at 8:10 a.m. every day, even if we don't know how our day is going to turn out. The second perhaps challenges us to make the most of how we spend our community and free periods, even when no one is watching and guiding us. And the third perhaps transcends beyond the solace of Grand and Warren, where there's no bell to guide us. So now, as we leave the sacred space of St. Peter's Prep, No longer will we hear the familiar C5 bell echo through the commons or guide us up the stairs of the English building. No longer will its 3 simple beats dictate where to go next. But even though the familiar bell may be gone, this only means it is our time to make some noise and ring it ourselves. This is our 4th perhaps. The perhaps that begins when we don't know what comes next, where we must take the risk and carve the path ourselves, or how we choose to live this 4th when we leave prep. And so, to my prep brothers of the class of 2025, as you look back one final time at the intersection of Grand and Warren, at the statue of St. Peter, and the lettering on the barn, remember, the bell brought us here, but it's up to us now to carry ourselves forward, a step closer to a greater perhaps. Thank you.
Great job. Stay here, stay tight. Evan, thank you for your words today and your many contributions to prep over the past 4 years. On behalf of the faculty, we are happy to present you the Vincent J. Kennedy Class of 1939 Award as the speaker of the Class of 2025. Congratulations. Next, we are proud to present a number of awards to outstanding members of the senior class. First, we are pleased to present the Jesuit Veterans Service Award. A tenet of the Graduate of Graduation is committed to doing justice. The Jesuit Veterans Service Award hopes to highlight a young man who exemplifies the act of selfless service for others. This award hopes to encourage public service as a means of developing the whole person, highlight the responsibilities of citizenship in our democracy, and promote selfless service. This young man exemplified our mission to instill courage to advance the common good. We are proud to present the Jesuit Veterans Service Award to Dylan Sullivan. Please come up to the stage. Thank you. The Agape Award was established by an alumnus and his wife, and its name holds particular significance in the Christian lexicon. Agape is the Greek word used to describe God's unconditional love for all people, a love that goes beyond what is fair, deserved, or rational. Love modeled by the Good Shepherd who leaves the 99 to find the one, and by the Father who welcomes home the prodigal son. This award recognizes a graduate actively living a life of faith shaped by the Gospels. We are proud to present the Agape Award ex aequo to Noah Mendoza and Jake Pachaki. Congratulations, come on up. Our next award is the Jerome Peterson Class of 1992 Award. Jerome Peterson passed away in February 2001. And while his life may have been short, his impact at Prep was anything but. His time at Grand and Warren as a student, athletic trainer, and HAP teacher was characterized by good humor, deep faith in God, and selfless generosity to the Prep community. He had the gift of bringing people together, and in him, all found common ground. He was a man for all seasons. This award is presented to a senior who models the virtues Jerome Peterson lived with such distinction: a gentle manner, good humor, faith, and generous service to the prep. We are proud to present the Jerome Peterson Class of 1992 awarded to Jason Peterson. Congratulations, come on up. Our next award is titled the Jesuit Schools Network Award. The Jesuit Schools Network comprises the 65 American Jesuit high schools and supports the work of each school in educating young people of competence, conscience, and compassion in the Ignatian tradition. This award honors a young man who exhibits the characteristics of Jesuit education, a man who is intelligent, open to growth, religious, loving, and committed to doing justice. We are proud to present the Jesuit Schools Network Award to John Mack. Congratulations. The Reverend John E. Browning Society of Jesus Class of 1946 Award was inaugurated in 1998 on the occasion of Father Browning's death. Father Browning was a Jersey City native and a member of the Prep class of 1946. As a young Jesuit priest, he returned to Prep, where for the next 35 years, he served as the driving force behind the Higher Achievement Program. He was also a teacher, a counselor, and a principal, whose work was characterized by a tremendous sense of humility and service. This award is presented to a young man modeling the virtues Father Browning lived with such distinction: courage, wisdom, and humble service in pursuit of justice. We are proud to present the John E. Browning Society of Jesus Award ex aequo to Corey Greenfield and Andres Perez. Congratulations. Who's going first? And finally, the Reverend Francis J. Shalou Society of Jesus Award. Father Shalou was a longtime member of the Prep community who served for more than 30 years as a guidance counselor, principal, and director of alumni relations. This award is presented annually to the young man who best exemplifies loyalty to the ideals of St. Peter's Prep, an outstanding spirit of service to the Prep community, and personal development characterized in the phrase, a man for and with others. We are proud to present the Francis J. Shalou Award to Maxwell Middleton. Congratulations. Since 1872, Prep has committed itself to educating the whole person. This begins in the classroom, but it continues through retreats, masses, and service trips. It plays out on the football and lacrosse fields, on the basketball and volleyball courts, from the running track to the golf course. Among our many co-curricular offerings, it is now my pleasure to highlight two of our more successful activities: the St. Peter's Prep Band and Chorus. As the graduates who are performing today begin to move, thanks fellas, I can say that the performing arts at St. Peter's Prep are flourishing, and Prep's concert band, jazz band, and Vox ensembles each year earn accolades. And that's no different this year. Select members of Prep's choir, Vox, traveled to Florida over President's Weekend to work with leading industry professionals in a series of workshops spanning a score session, Broadway, and more. In the score session, every Vox member was tasked with learning music, sound effects, and dialogue in order to create voiceovers for animation. With Prep students taking on all of the roles, the final video was one to remember. The second workshop, Disney's Broadway Magic, had Vox working with the happiest man on earth, Billy Flanagan, to create a scene from Disney Cruise Line's new musical, Tangled. There were many opportunities for singing, dancing, and creating over this 5-day trip. Senior Noah Mendoza was a 2-year member of the NJMEA All-State Mixed Chorus representing Prep in the Tenor 2 section. Our band program saw a major rebuilding year with 41 members and half from the freshman class. And half from the freshman class. That would have been weird. Also, this is the first year that band began a marching program. The entire group marched at the America Dream Mall as a part of the Characters of the Dream Parade, and the jazz band gave a successful stage performance at the mall to an enthusiastic crowd. Our senior band members are Joseph Ash, Mark Baccassini, and Andre Concepcion, Giovanni Fiori, Owen Maher, Maxwell Middleton, Alexander Pola, and Anthony Zamora. Our senior Vox members are Anthony Balin, Raven Sirio, Aaron Koo, Evan Henning, Victor Herensky, Owen Maher, Noah Mendoza, Evan Nguyen, and Wyatt Schneider. Today, the senior musicians are performing "You Are the Sunshine of My Life" by Stevie Wonder, arranged by Mark Taylor. Thank you.
Sunshine of my life. That's why I'll always be around. You are the apple of my eye. Forever you'll stay in my heart. I feel like this is the beginning. I loved you for a million years. And if I thought our love was ending, I'd find myself drowning in my own tears. Whoa, you are the sunshine of my life. That's why I'll always be around. You are the apple of my I loved you for a million years. And if I thought our love was ending, I find myself drowning in my own tears. Whoa, you are the sunshine of my life. That's why I'll always be around. You are the apple of my eye. Forever you'll stay in my heart. Must have known that I was lonely, because you came to my rescue. I know that this must be heaven. So much love being inside
Mr. Kaslowitz, Ms. Fenzik, members of the band and chorus, thank you for your fine work over the course of the year and your terrific contribution to today's celebration. Choosing a faculty speaker for a prep graduation is no easy task, as the choices are far too numerous. When thinking about possible candidates, I was pleasantly surprised to find out that Dr. Jeff Hartling had never addressed the graduates. Doc, as he is lovingly referred to by colleagues and students alike, has been a staple in the prep theology classroom for 20 years. While I can wax poetic about the amazing work that Dr. Hartling does, I thought it might be better to hear from one of his students who is in the esteemed group that sits in front of me today. And he states, I once heard a quote in a YouTube video that has resonated with me ever since, that if a work, act, or action of any kind manages to inspire even a single person, then it is worth doing. Doc, you can rest easy knowing that what you do is certainly worth it in my eyes. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Hartling to the podium.
Man, shout out to Vox and Band. It's a rough task to follow Stevie Wonder, you know? It's like, at one point, I believe Jimi Hendrix opened up for the Monkees. But we'll do what we got to do here. So good morning, esteemed faculty, honored guests, proud families, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2025. When word got out that I was asked to be your commencement speaker, one colleague said I must have drawn the short straw, while two others independently came up with Chris must enjoy rolling the dice. So let's begin with a fragment from a fine Irishman, William Butler Yeats, and see what happens. I use this verse whenever I'm asked to deliver a toast. Think not where man's glory most begins and ends, but say my glory was I had such friends. Let's appreciate the glory that each and every one of us shares with each other by having been part of the story that is St. Peter's Prep. One of my favorite sacraments is marriage, the ultimate covenantal relationship. I'm so fond of the sacrament, I went through it twice. In both cases, my groomsmen were the friends I went through my high school journey with, and the friends I'll look forward to seeing at my 50th reunion this October. And I hope you share a similar experience when you find your partner. My name is Jeffrey Hartling. My friends call me Jeff, and your sons call me Doc, and I really miss the years when I was called Coach. I'm bringing to a close my 41st year of teaching and my 20th year at Prep. I'm a proud member of the Theology department, pursuing religious studies with your sons. But what I really do, what all of us in the humanities do, is share stories with our students. A story is a conversation between the narrator and the reader. In English, our stories are the products of authors, poets, playwrights, and screenwriters. In history, our stories are told by historians. Theology's different. Our story is somehow revealed by God and told by inspired men and women. Doesn't seem fair. Every storyteller hopes that the readers will open their hearts and give them a part of themselves so they can be immortal, even for a few minutes. So now I'm going to tell you a story. I've long since given up trying to wrap my mind around the stories about Jesus or Buddha or Mohammed or Joseph Smith. Some things are better approached with your heart and soul. Give your mind a rest. But there were times in my life when I felt that the idea or belief in God, Allah, or Brahman was not necessary in order for the world to make sense. I studied physics at Holy Cross, and that world made sense, but the study was difficult. I started taking classes in religious studies to help pull up my physics grades. I'm very proud of my degree in physics, but religious studies took over, and it has been my lifelong pursuit. I thought the idea of God was interesting. I wasn't struggling with the question of why bad things happen to good people. To this day, I've never really experienced anything bad. Providence did not interest me other than being a fine capital of a tiny state. I love creation without worrying about a creator. Challenges, setbacks, and failures galore little my journey, but nothing bad. As I rolled into middle age, I just stopped thinking about God. I was not an atheist or a theist, neither Gnostic nor agnostic. I always used to tell the hundreds of students who challenged me with their insistence that they do not believe in God, with the assurance that that was okay, because God believed in them. My initial concern was Christology. I wanted to see if I could determine how Mary's son could be the Son of God. The study was both challenging and disturbing. You have to take apart creedal statements to the point where it's impossible to put them back together. So I gave up Christology and I devoted myself to the study of world religions. I'll take apart Lord Krishna or Buddha, and I'll just let Jesus be the Christ. And then I moved on to the ultimate study and an attempt to approach God. I crossed the divide separating religious studies from theology, but I did not land my leap of faith. I missed whatever mark I thought I was aiming for. My struggles with God were and are Sisyphean in nature. Small successes followed by amazingly successful failures. But I never stopped pushing that damn rock up the hill. What else are you going to do? I have a great life. I have fantastic parents and an amazing wife. I have 3 children, a 40-year-old daughter named Yarrow, a 22-year-old son named Liam, and a 15-year-old daughter named Elsie. In Catholic circles, we call that family planning without a plan. Yarrow has blessed me with 2 grandchildren, Robin and Rose. Biblically, I have been fruitful and multiplied. Physically, I've always had a high metabolism and an endless source of energy to which I always asked, for what purpose? What was I to do with the abilities I had been given? And I realized at some point that the very question concerning purpose and destiny presumed there was a plan, and therefore a planner, a storyteller telling my story. Liam came into this world with a different way of looking at and being in the world. With Liam, my life became purposeful and my faith providential. Both Madeline and I realized that Liam was going to march to the beat of a different drummer. And when his diagnosis of nonverbal autism was first publicly spoken, I had an epiphany of sorts. Madeline asked why I was smiling, and I couldn't bring myself to tell her that at 44 years of age, I had finally discovered why I was put on this earth, with boundless energy, a metabolism in high gear. I sweat when I eat. Providential design smacked me in the face like a wet flounder, and God and I have been walking side by side ever since. Liam gave me an insight that no dissertation could touch. My cup was empty, I reached out my hand, and my cup was full, and it's been full to the brim ever since. Well, that's a brief version of my story, and now I'm going to move on to an even briefer version of our faculty story. When asked, why do you teach, my friend and colleague responded with, when asked, what do you teach, my friend and colleague responded with, I teach the truth. And I would love to have that conviction and confidence. I don't think I teach the truth in as much as I, along with my students, pursue the truth with a little t, in the hope that when it's all said and done, all these little truths will add up to a much larger truth with a capital T. The truth lies in the values that are first instilled by our parents, our mothers and fathers. And these are our most fundamental values, a foundation upon which we will build our monuments to ourselves. These values will be confronted, amplified, changed, or perhaps abandoned as we acquire an education, as we come to know and embrace not our teachers, but what our teachers teach. One of the first theologians I ever had the privilege of not understanding was David Tracy, may he rest in peace. Father Tracy believed the divine proceeds through stories that require an analogical imagination. Tracy believed that Christ is an analog for God, as are great works of art and literature, mathematics and science. Religion's closest cousin is not the rigid logic of theology, but art, poetry, and story by which we approach the infinitely small and the infinitely large. That's what the faculty does. We work together. We have a conductor and a first violin. We're an orchestra, a symphony. And I hope to see a few of you graduates join us in song at some point in the future. We Bene Merentis are the new Campions, Di Lorenzos, Kennedys, and Garcias. The Peters, Romanos, Klims, Verdis, Kaselwitz, Fletchers, and Morrises. And while we might feel that we do not measure up to these giants, we do, and we are. We walked on the shoulders of giants, and others will walk on ours. Ms. Romano reminded me of that when at a faculty retreat she stated, I love what I taught, I love with whom I taught, and I love who I taught. There's a lot of love out there. It's kind of like a dead show. Now that my story's out of the way and our faculty story's out of the way, let's think about your story. Many pages have been turned as this chapter comes to an end and the next chapter begins. The wheel keeps turning and it won't slow down, so you got to enjoy the ride and remember we're all part of each other's glory. I want to talk first to the athletes who no longer see themselves pursuing their sport of choice. You may no longer consider yourself a football, soccer, or baseball player, but you're still athletes. Luca, Alex, Dylan, become what you were meant to be, rugby players. When I had the privilege of coaching rugby, my players were all enamored by the haka, which begins many of the Pac Islander games, especially the New Zealand All Blacks. Many mistake the haka as an invitation to war. One of the chants is Kamate Kaora, which can be translated as I die, I live. But the repeated refrain is Tenakoa, Tenakoa, which translates as greetings to you, followed by Kia ora, which means greetings, well-being. It's not a call to war. It's a call to competition. And your opposition is not your enemy, but the means by which you play the game. Without them, there is no game, and you don't hate them or wish they were all on your side, for then the game becomes a scrimmage, and that's like kissing your aunt. Both sides play with the same ball, on the same pitch, following the same laws. At the end, there's a victor and vanquished. All gather around the table to eat and drink and relive the glories through song. Congress could learn a great lesson from rugby. Republicans need Democrats in order to play the game, and Democrats need Republicans. As a waiter and grad student, I served many a Democrat and Republican sitting at the same table on Capitol Hill, as both sides used to gather in one of the many pubs and talk about their day. The class of 2025 is about to enter a rather progressive environment that is higher education. Some of you will be right at home, and some of you are going to need to find your voice to express your conservative values. Progressive and conservative are adjectives. The plural noun they modify is values. They also modify party, and who doesn't love a good party? I'd like to give a shout out to each and every one of you, both those whose path I crossed and those I passed like two ships in the night, but time is short. During my senior exit interviews, I had the chance to sit with a couple seniors I had never met before. Caden's wrestling career and commitment to the Naval Academy and a life of service are admirable, but the simplicity of his commitment to his Catholic faith blew me away. Joshua wrote me a lovely note letting me know that the stories I tell about myself, my chickens, and family were as important as the stories I told about Jews, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, and Buddhists. They're all well-told stories, and everyone has a story. You just need to learn how to tell it. I've had the pleasure of knowing Carlos for his 4 years at prep. He has a full ride at Fordham, yet chose to stay at home to take care of his grandpa, who was challenged by dementia and Parkinson's. I've lived with my mom's raging dementia for the last 5 years of my life. What Carlos lives with as a young man, I had the good fortune of waiting until I was a seasoned man. Carlos is going to get that rock on the top of the mountain. Sisyphus be damned. I stand in awe of Christian, my favorite Orthodox Catholic, who occasionally misses school in order to lend a hand at home with his autistic siblings. Leo, Felix, Andre, and Yasha's pride in writing outstanding essays without using AI put a smile on my face, and it warmed my heart. Andre wrote me a note after the first semester that became the center of my penultimate 5-year plan. Now let's take a moment and get practical with the following 8 suggestions, an 8-fold path, if you will. Gentlemen, run toward education. Don't purposely put any barriers in your way. When your professors walk into the classroom, let them see you turn off your phones and shut your laptops. 2, know your bladders and their capacity and stay in your seat for the entirety of the period. 3, never wear sweatpants or pajamas to class. Sweatpants are a sign you've given up. Pajamas are going to tell your professors you would rather be in bed. 4, make sure there's one professor at the end of the day that you can invite over to your apartment for dinner. That professor is going to open many a door for you. 5, learn to write in cursive. 6, when submitting essays, try to include a sentence or two that acknowledges your Jesuit education. Something like, as part of my Jesuit education, I read Graham Greene's The Power and the Glory. It'll mean something to your professors. 7, turn in the best you can produce on time and don't kid yourself that if you had more time, you would deliver a better project. Just deliver. If you buy your fruit early, it'll ripen. If you buy it too late, it will be rotten. And finally, number 8, have babies. A lot of them, lots of babies. All right, gentlemen, I'm about to wrap this up. Celebrate the occasional journey into averageness or mediocrity and come out on the other side of your failures. Don't pursue a life that can be quantified or enumerated. Go for a life of quality, one that can only be described with a poem. Be known for what you stand for and stand for something. Find your authentic way of being yourself. Roosevelt reminds us that the strong man will always stumble and every deed could have been done better, but the very fact that you stumble or fall short means you're in the game. You're in the arena. And when you strive and stumble and no enthusiasm for a worthy cause, then you can say that you failed while daring greatly. So dare greatly. I began by citing a fine Irish poet, and I'd like to end by citing a fine Jewish poet. In addition to sending this out to the class of 25, I would like to especially send this out to Jim Horan, Arvin Shaw, and Jerry Davis. It's about 99 or 100 years of memories there. May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and have others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung, and may you stay forever young. Hey, God bless you, and one big love, guys. All right. Thank you.
Dr. Hartling, thank you. Charlie Rooney was a member of the prep faculty for 38 years, retiring in 1985. The father of 2 prep graduates, Mr. Rooney embodied all that makes a prep teacher memorable: scholarship, humor, dedication, dependability, and a deep grounding in Ignatian principles. And so, it is fitting that we honor his memory with the Charlie Rooney Award to the faculty speaker at graduation. Congratulations, Jeff. Each day, the tireless work of our faculty and staff helps make prep such a wonderful place. Each member of our faculty and staff has left our students with memories, influences, and inspiration that will stay with them forever. On behalf of the class of 2025, I ask the faculty and staff present to stand and be recognized. Thank you. I also offer special recognition to members of the faculty and staff who have devoted 20 years of service to St. Peter's Prep and earned the Bene Merenti Award. I ask our Bene Merenti awardees to stand as I call their names and the years they first began their service at St. Peter's Prep, and to remain standing until the last name has been called. Erica Abadante, 2004. Megan Klim, 2004. Anthony Lucretio, 2004. John Morris, 2004. Rich Hansen III, 2003. Josh Jantis, 2003. Michael Fletcher, 2002. Rocco Tejada, 2001. John Fensick, 2001. Rosalie Romano, 2000. Mr. Steve Kaslowitz, 1999. Mr. Anthony Verdi, 1999. Mr. Hugo Ello, 1997. Mr. Richard Peters, 1997. Ms. Diane McCabe, 1992. Ms. Grace Galario, 1990. Mr. Arvin Saw, 1990. Mr. John Irvin, 1989. Ms. Elizabeth Walsh, 1985. Mr. Richard Hansen, 1983. Mr. James C. Horan, 1974. And Reverend John Mullen, Society of Jesus, 1970. And today, I am happy to induct 4 new members of our staff to this distinguished group, with a 5th being Mr. Keating, who's heading down to an economics competition, so we'll save him for next year, who collectively have served our school community in myriad ways inside and outside of the classroom, and individually have modeled for all, in ways seen and more often unseen, what it means to be men and women for and with others. After I read your description, I'd ask for the faculty or staff member to come up to the stage. Thank you. Mr. David Bailey began at Prep as a freshman in the fall of 1991. Dave returned to Prep in 2001 as our Director of Institutional Technology, subsequently left and returned in that same role in 2011, and has been shepherding our school in the realm of technology since. In that time, Mr. Bailey has led Prep in the shift to a one-to-one school, navigating through distance and hybrid learning during the COVID-19 pandemic, and of course, the many updates to learning management systems and overall technological infrastructure of the year over the course of 20 years, of the school over the course of 20 years. His work is invaluable and often behind the scenes, but please join me in appreciation of his dedication to Prep today. Congratulations. Father Fred Galano has worn some interesting hats at Prep for his 20 years serving us. Originally joining us as a member of the Theology Department in the fall of 2005, Fred led many students on their faith journey, especially in his ever-popular senior elective, Finding God in All Films. Fred has also done tremendous work with our faculty in spiritual direction, and many of you experience Father Galano in his current role as the Director of Financial Aid at Prep. His dedication to the students and families of Prep in so many ways is such a gift. So please join me in appreciation of his commitment to the Jesuit values we hold dear today. Congratulations, Father Galano. Dr. Jeffrey Hartling arrived as a member of the Prep Theology Department in the fall of 2005. In his time with us, he has shaped the minds of countless freshmen and seniors, guiding them through Old Testament passages and the study of the religions of the world. For many years, he also coached rugby athletes in the way of the sport, but more importantly, in the ways of life. Affectionately known as Doc, his ability to tell a story and meet students where they are has impacted countless lives over the course of his tenure at Prep. So please join me in appreciation of his commitment to the Prep community today. Congratulations. Last but not least, Ms. Marianne McElroy arrived at Prep in 2005 as a member of our history department. She quickly established herself as a masterful AP United States history teacher. Countless students have experienced Ms. McElroy's engaging lessons, her love of George Washington, and of course, her care of students. This is so clearly evident when various alumni come back to visit us, and their first stop is her classroom. Aside from her great work in the history classroom, Ms. McElroy has served as a co-director of the She and Scholars program and moderator for our very successful Model UN team, among many other responsibilities. Please join me in appreciation of her many years of service to Prep today. Congratulations, Marianne. Good move. Nice and slow. Congratulations. I definitely waited for Dr. Gomez to sit so that he has to get back up and come up here, so that's great.
Congratulations and thank you to our newest Bene Merenti recipients. The Insignis Award was established to recognize the type of person that St. Ignatius Loyola would have wanted to draw to the Society of Jesus. As quoted on the plaque, Ignatius writes, "Those who wish to give greater proof of their love and distinguish themselves in whatever concerns the service of the eternal Lord and King of all will not only offer themselves entirely for the work of the kingdom, but will act against anything that would make their response less total." This award is conferred occasionally at the discretion of the president or the principal and is Prep's highest honor for our members of our board, faculty, and staff. One person we celebrate with this award today began his Prep journey when I was a senior at Prep. He was working as a contractor fixing our air conditioning, something, unfortunately, he's grown to know all too well. He heard that there was an opening at Prep as part of the operations team, and a few months later, Ken Dandorf, who at the time was like a combination of Mr. Albers and Mr. Mars, he invited him to become part of our Prep family. He's been here ever since, interacting and serving and cheering and loving this place and all who call it home. He didn't just fix pipes and patch walls and install floors and literally keep the lights on. Well, that was extremely important. But he would plow the snow in our parking lot with the same gusto and determination as Coach Hansen had in winning state championships. It was a sight to see. He had and he has such a tremendous pride in his work and in this place. Maybe it was a way of showing us what quiet leadership looks like, what it means to do your best even though no one is watching. He's a tremendous supporter of all things Prep sports, especially wrestling or football or basketball, and just last week he celebrated with us at the Athletic Hall of Fame dinner. Again, showing that great sense of pride in supporting the Marauders, but also being a Marauder himself. With his son graduating in 2001, he's also a great Prep dad. In an interview last week, he spoke about how blessed he was for the opportunity to make a difference in the life of St. Peter's Prep, and how grateful he is for the impact St. Peter's Prep and its wonderful people have made on his own life. For his love and care of Prep, its buildings, our faculty, staff, our students, our mission, and our purpose, and for just always showing up, always being there when we needed him, I'm proud to present the Insignis Award to Mr. Arvin Saw. Today we also celebrate another Insignis recipient, someone who has not only been honored as a legend of prep, but who literally invented the award. The first phrase that comes to mind when I think of this administrator and former faculty member is impactful sense of purpose. He has embodied this phrase for 51 years, the longest anyone has ever served at prep in any capacity. Along the way, he has left a beautiful legacy, not just in bricks and mortar, but written in maroon and white. Upon his graduation from Marquette University in 1974, he was about to embark on a career in journalism with a job lined up at Newsweek magazine when he received a call from his alma mater. Prep needed an English teacher, and he agreed to join the faculty for 1 year before returning to journalism, in his father's words, when this teaching fantasy was done. A year became a decade, and a decade became half a century, and now he has served at Grandin Warren for fully 1/3 of Prep's history. As the years went by, he introduced a journalism course to the English department, established the Office of Public Information, which has grown into the Communications and Advancement offices of today, led and completed 4 capital programs. Some of the highlights include the Moriarty Science Center, the creation of the Warren Street Plaza, and the field where we're all gathered today. His friends and colleagues at Prep through the decades have known him as a repository of Prep history, and we are grateful that he put so much of that knowledge into the creation of the book celebrating our 150th anniversary, on sale today in the Prep shop. Too easy. He has worked with 9 Prep presidents, and all of us have known he loves Prep to death. I'm sure you'd agree. I'm proud to present the Insignis Award to Mr. Jim Horan of the class of 1970.
Thank you so much. There is one more group here today who deserve thanks and congratulations for their part in making this day possible. I ask all parents and guardians of today's graduates to please stand. Commencement is not simply a rite of passage. It is an acknowledgement of 4 years of success, of sacrifice, of support. Parents and guardians of our graduates, you have entrusted St. Peter's Prep with your sons, and Prep has been blessed by this gift. More than anyone else, you are responsible for having provided your sons with the grounding, the direction, and the spirit that have brought them to this joyous day. As their first and best teachers, I hope you will take great pride in all they have achieved. Graduates, understand with your hearts that true greatness is never achieved without love and support. And never forget that what you have achieved and what you celebrate this day was realized through the love and faith of those who have supported you. I would ask our graduates and faculty and staff to acknowledge the parents and guardians of the class of 2025. Thank you and congratulations. In a moment, I will ask Ms. Epler and others to lead our graduates to the stage 1 row at a time to receive their diplomas. When you reach the stage, please stand at the marker next to Dr. Gomez and myself and wait for our photographer to take your photo, and then return to your seat. I ask that for any legacy family member who will hand their graduate the diploma, approach the stage with the graduate when his row begins moving. Dr. Gomez, I present to you the members of the St. Peter's Prep class of 2025 and attest that they have successfully completed the course of studies and have been conferred diplomas of graduation. I now ask Ms. Heil and Mr. Morris to return to the podium to call out the names. We ask that you hold your applause until each row of graduates has been recognized so that we can hear everyone's names. Thank you.
Cum laude, Mackenzie Gibbons. Dylan Sullivan. Nicholas Marco. Elizer Abreu. Receiving his diploma from his father, Rocco Tejada, Prep staff member, and his brother, Anthony Tejada, Prep class of 2028, Matthew Tejada. Receiving his diploma from his father, Frank Briamonte, Prep class of 1986, Jackson Briamonte. Magna cum laude, Enes Lissom. Receiving a silver award in visual art, receiving his diploma from his brother Alexander Wasden, Prep class of 2020, cum laude, Elijah Wasden. Receiving a gold award in vocal music, receiving his diploma from his father, Richard Mendoza, Prep class of 1998, and his brother, Nikolai Mendoza, Prep class of 2024, cum laude, Noah Mendoza. Cum laude, James Daggestanley. Joshua Lowney. William Cole. Keenan Williams. Eric Dabkowski. Kyle Quinn. Aiden Ferrante. Michael Fritz. Cum laude, Anil Ward. Daniel O'Brien. Thomas O'Brien. Receiving his diploma from his brother, Shay Buckley, Prep class of 2022, magna cum laude, Nicholas Buckley. Cum laude, Caden Ricciardi. Cum laude, Jacob Halicki. Receiving his diploma from his brothers, Sebastian Pena, Prep class of 2021, and Diego Pena, Prep class of 2022, Gabriel Pena. Congratulations.
tight 1 second.
Nicholas Malloy. Receiving his diploma from his brother Peter Cifarelli, prep class of 2022, cum laude, Joseph Cifarelli. Andres Perez. Landon Pino. Karan Grayson. Aiden Wiseman. Cum laude, Maxwell Nevlin. Daniel McMahon. Aiden Lamb. Receiving a Gold Award in German and a Gold Award ex aequo in instrumental music. Receiving his diploma from his father, David Middleton, former prep teacher, magna cum laude, Maxwell Middleton. Cum laude, Maximilian Majewski. Receiving a Gold Award in French, magna cum laude, James Anthony Nona Iliada. Riley Alansozana. Nathaniel Palmerino. Akshay Kumar. Jared Luango. Receiving his diploma from his brother Aiden Fojas, prep class of 2024, cum laude, Connor Fojas. Austin Spencer. Receiving a Gold Award in English, a Gold Award in Mathematics, and a Gold Award in History, magna cum laude, Felix Puch Sepalainen. Corey Greenfield. Receiving his diploma from his brother Frank McAndrew, prep class 2022, cum laude, Jake McAndrew. Receiving his diploma from his brother Ryan Wallace, prep class of 21, cum laude, Brady Wallace. Cum laude, Yassine Jabala. Cum laude, Connor Reynolds. Congratulations.
Evaristo Gonzalez. Receiving a Gold Award ex aequo in Spanish, a Silver Award in Mathematics, magna cum laude, Evan Nguyen. Receiving a Gold Award in Computer Science, magna cum laude, Ayush Surchan. Lucas Hernandez. Alexander Pola. Evan Henning. Receiving a Gold Award ex aequo in Italian, magna cum laude, Jack St. Ledger. Receiving a Gold Award ex aequo in Latin, magna cum laude, Henry Eig. Receiving his diploma from his father, Tommy Blunda, prep class of 1987, cum laude, Thomas Blunda. Cum laude, Axel Martinez. Jonathan Lopez. Cum laude, George Zacchino. Cum laude, Henry Kuhn. Nicholas Galucci. Adam Elshenawi. Liam Sandino. Luca Herrera. Oluwatosin Olubabola. Hamilton Akaboezi. Receiving his diploma from his brother, Samuel Porch Jr., prep class of 2023, Eric Porch. Cum laude, Jake Dagro. Cum laude, Alexander Soltis. Matthew Zepeda. Hugh Park. Congratulations.
Joseph Frangi. Theodoros Georgiadis. Receiving his diploma from his father, Karim Kaspar, prep class of 73, cum laude, Zachary Kaspar. Cum laude, Maximus Varea. Dylan Jensen. Cum laude, Gavin Moreno. Cum laude, Samer Saleh. Cum laude, Colin Castles. Magna cum laude, Alex Park. Receiving his diploma from his father, Mr. Kevin Pidane, prep class of 93, magna cum laude, Justin Pidane. James Devlin. Santino Cortez Gill. Cum laude, Aiden Pruker. John Rohrbacher. Luke Rohrbacher. Cum laude, Austin Bottino. Receiving his diploma from his father, Dan Cutola, prep class of '87, Daniel Cutola. Nathan Chang. William Hines. Receiving a gold award ex aequo in Italiano, magna cum laude, John Mack. Receiving a silver award in Spanish, Daniel Brown. Receiving his diploma from his brother, Joseph Gianni, prep class of 2015, Justin Gianni. Receiving his diploma from his brother, Charles Burt, prep class of 23, Joseph Burt. Gabriel Espinosa. Congratulations.
Hernan Gamble. Ryan Adukas. Receiving a gold award ex aequo in instrumental music, cum laude, Anthony Michael Zamora. Tomas Osorio. Liam Mifsud. Cum laude, David Capo. Receiving his diploma from his brother, Nicholas Camilleri, class of 2015, Lorenzo Camilleri. Aviv Talmor. Cum laude, Luca Blake. Peyton Monahan. Raymond Stein. Oscar Rodriguez. Cum laude, Simon Newhouse. Matthew Sobrero. Magna cum laude, Martin Kurlovich. Receiving his diploma from his brother, Simon Heides, prep class of 2022, magna cum laude, Philip Heides. Receiving his diploma from his brother, R.J. Fiore, Prep Class of 2022, Joseph Fiore. Cum laude, Maxwell Wong. Receiving a Silver Award in Theology, cum laude, Aiden Miklas. Nivik Nolt. Receiving his diploma from his father, Brian Hogney, Prep Class of 1989, and his brother, Patrick Hogney, Prep Class of 2019, magna cum laude, Emmett Hogney. Noah Kraft. Receiving his diploma from his brother, Xavier Flores, Prep Class of 2023, Adrian Flores. Congratulations.
Lucas Gumpel. Cum laude, Ryan Lee. James Eacock IV. Receiving his diploma from his father, Paul Lempa, Prep Class of '88, Eldon Lempa. Christian Auerbach. Receiving his diploma from his grandfather, John Charles, Prep Class of 1958, cum laude, Stephen Charles. Receiving a Silver Award in History and receiving his diploma from his brother, Rocco Barone, Class of 24, magna cum laude, Luca Barone. Jake Vogel. Dylan Colaviti. Receiving a Gold Award in Science, cum laude, Connor West. Cristiano Cevallos. Christian Marcos. Receiving his diploma from his brother Salvatore Grasso, Prep Class of 22, Nicholas Grasso. Receiving a Gold Award ex aequo in Latin, magna cum laude, Raven Sirio. Receiving a Silver Award in Creative Writing, cum laude, Anthony De Filippis. Pascal Vino. Justin Gonzalez. Magna cum laude, Brennan Trowbridge. Adam Gadd. Receiving a Silver Award ex aequo in Instrumental Music, receiving his diploma from his brother Enzo Fiore, Prep Class of 22, Giovanni Fiore. Receiving his diploma from his father, Carlos Pomares, prep class of '89, magna cum laude, Carlos Pomares. Receiving his diploma from his father, Joseph Schurer, prep class of '86, and his brother James Schurer, class of '22, Justin Schurer. Receiving his diploma from his brother Justin Koo, prep class of '22, cum laude, Aaron Cedric Koo. Cum laude, Finn Getz. Congratulations.
Magna cum laude, Lucas Mira McKenzie. Cum laude, Nicholas Smith. Receiving his diploma from his brother, Ricardo Arias, prep class of 2021, cum laude, Maximiliano Arias. Jake Pachaki. Cum laude, Alfonso Gonzalez. Cum laude, Alexander Delano. Receiving his diploma from his brother, Ryan Bay, prep class of 2023, magna cum laude, Luke Bay. Receiving a silver award in English and a silver award in science, magna cum laude, Andre Concepcion. Receiving his diploma from his grandfather, Richard F. Granda, prep class of 1959, and his father, Dan Granda, prep class of 1990, Daniel Granda. Receiving his diploma from his grandfather, Richard F. Granda, prep class of 1959, his father, Rick Granda, prep class of 1989, and his brother, Nick Granda, prep class of 2020, cum laude, Michael Granda. Receiving his diploma from his grandfather, Frank Ash, prep class of 1955, and his father, Frank Ash, prep class of 1990, magna cum laude, Joseph Ash. Receiving a gold award in Mandarin, cum laude, Roy Liu. Cum laude, Justin Klein. Cum laude, Marcus Saldua. Receiving his diploma from his brother, Brian Bartizek, prep class of 2016, Ethan Bartizek. Argia Trivedi. Augustin Stocker. Peter Franco. Magna cum laude, Declan Schultz. Jack Tuckman. Charles Jacob Lim. Cum laude, Daniel Nemeth Serdai. Receiving a Gold Award in Visual Arts and a Gold Award in Theology, magna cum laude, Yash Khanna. Anthony Duarte. Congratulations.
Christopher Marinello. Ignacio Maro. Lucas Santos. Dante Copeland. Receiving a Silver Award in Vocal Music, a Silver Award ex aequo in Instrumental Music, cum laude, Owen Maher. Wyatt Schneider. Isaac Holland. Receiving a Gold Award in Creative Writing, cum laude, Roman Popowski. Michael Ortega Roderick. Kyan Melendez. Receiving his diploma from his brother, Damiano Servideo, prep class of 2018, cum laude, Leo Servideo. I'm sorry.
Yep, you can.
Pardon. Cum laude, Alexander Forero. Jake Sullivan. Magna cum laude, Lucas Rodriguez. Magna cum laude, Jean O. Magna cum laude, Kyle O. Samuel Onserio. Victor Hraczynski. Cum laude, Douglas Bauman. Julian Cohen. Receiving his diploma from his grandfather, Eugene Graziano, prep class of 52, his father, Joseph Boccassini, prep class of 85, and his brother, Thomas Boccassini, prep class of 22, cum laude, Mark Boccassini. Jason Peterson. The rarest of honors of graduating twice in the same day and receiving his diploma from his brother, Damiano Servideo, prep class of 2018, cum laude, Leo Servideo. Christian Pereira Velasquez. Magna cum laude, Gavin Gerstenbluth. Congratulations.
Cum laude, Emil Federico Ordonez. Zachary Mendoza. Julian de Avila. Anthony Ballin. Jeremy Jang. Brandon Laraga. Magna cum laude, Michael Florentino. Liam Morrison. Aiden Lauro. Receiving his diploma from his brother, Maurice Kevin McLaughlin, prep class of 2022, cum laude, Peter McLaughlin. Jack Ostromogilski. Cum laude, Abanub Tadros. Edward Gudarov. Elijah Knowles. Daryl Coleman. Arjun Puri. Receiving his diploma from his brothers, Brendan Thiel, prep class of 2018, Jonathan Thiel, prep class of 2020, and Ryan Thiel, prep class of 2022, Jeremy Thiel. Cole Laskowski. Magna cum laude, Abraham Went. Sho Nadada. Charles Mays III. Elijah Jones. Ibram Boucher. Congratulations.
All right, I will now bring up Dr. Gomez to the podium for his closing remarks.
Tradition. You're all officially part of the long and glorious tradition of St. Peter's Prep. Then, now, always. Through all the early morning alarms, with maybe a couple of long commutes per day and longer papers to write at night, through homework and tests and labs and quizzes and sometimes the sacred snow day, through rehearsals and performances and preseasons and practices and the prep magic wins and the not-so-magic losses, through service trips, global trips, and Emmaus crosses, through bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches, chicken parm subs, and sometimes just a two-slice special. Through nights you couldn't sleep and days you couldn't keep your eyes open. Through Andrew Ball and rec yard basketball, but only during lunch periods. Not sure why. Through turtlenecks and quarter zips in the school with the most dressed-down days ever with the wristbands to boot. Through some mistakes and missteps and misunderstandings, and of course some laughs, lots of laughs. All of that and so much more has helped you acquire this. The ability to reason, to articulate, to discern, to understand, to create, to evaluate, to forgive, to ask for forgiveness, to prioritize, to pray, to find a prep brother, especially one on crutches so you can help him up onto the elevator. You acquired the ability to conjugate a Latin verb, to decipher train schedules, to advise a freshman on locating Moriarty, Mulry, Hogan, and Shalou. And you, my brothers, have acquired the capacity to love more deeply. And one of the gifts that comes from that is having best friends for life. The brotherhood is real. You hopefully have acquired another ability that maybe we don't talk about too often. So consider this your final lesson. You know the phrase, hold it, hold it, hold everything, hold everything. You might have heard it at some point. Hold everything. You can't. You can't hold everything. Over these 4 years, you've held things that you've had to let go. You physically had to let go. You had the backpack over your shoulder, a pen in your hand. Then there's the lacrosse stick, or the notes for the musical, or the remote control for the robot. Your last Bob White sandwich as a student at prep. And what are you holding now? Your diploma, the program, maybe your phone. All things we hold, but we eventually have to let them go. You have to let them go. You can't hold them forever. What else do we hold? We hold grudges. We hold those noises in our heads, the memories that bother us. We hold pictures in our minds, in our hearts, for years that make us angry and resentful and bitter. We hold memories of shame of times we hurt someone, even though they already forgave us. Now, you don't have to let those things go. You don't have to. And they're not as easy as letting go of as a pen, but I hope you choose to let them go. Just let them go. Rise above what actually, in the grand scheme of things, they're just actual mediocrities. Just let them go. If we want to be men formed with others, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves. And one way to do that is to release that stuff. Put it down, clear some space. Create an open sanctuary in your heart, so you have room to pick up something more important, sometimes most important. Now, there are some things that you hold that I hope you'll never let go. Obviously, I'm a little biased. Don't worry about that. Mr. Morris is going to get it. We're all set. I'm biased, but I hope you hold on to your love for prep and for your prep brothers. I hope you hold on to that great love for your parents and guardians. You probably won't realize how much they've done for you and how challenging it is to be a good mom or dad until you get much, much older. It's not easy. It's very, very hard. I hope you hold on to your faith. Actually, I hope you deepen your faith. I hope you hold on to the hope in the darkest of days. And I hope you believe that holding on to someone else and this thing that we've been talking about since day one, together, 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 that will always get you through. I promise. You can't hold everything, so intentionally choose what you hold and choose what you can't. And choose with a discerning Ignatian heart. You'll know the right choice. Just have the courage to make it. So lots of lessons and lots of skills and lots of ways of thinking. Acquiring all that is exhausting. I hope that you realize that it was through the exhaustion of giving your best all the time, being exhausted at night, that you brought true beauty to the world and therefore gave glory to God. AMDG, Ad Meorum Dei Gloriam. It's a form of prayer, just trying your best. I hope you hold on to that one. And it wasn't just your exhaustion. As we shared earlier, parents, of course, we're grateful for you today. And this is your day as well. A chance to recall and celebrate, perhaps, right, think about it, perhaps in disbelief, how your son has grown, not just since those first steps up the Warren Street steps, but the first steps that your son has ever taken. I'm sure you can picture those first steps, as well as that first smile, and maybe, just maybe, you remember the first time he said, "I love you." You have watched this small child, this small kid, grow up on a unique, wonderfully uneven, and completely unpredictable timetable. And somehow along the way, he became a man. Now, parents, you will figure out a way to let him go, but still hold on to him. He's still yours, then, now, always. And it's also pride and glory, then, now, always. Obviously, when you think of your prep experience, you have the then, that's done, and the now, it's done. But your always is starting this minute. And to so many of us, the always means the most. The always is what it's always been about. Prep forever, forever prep. The prep experience doesn't help just define the person you are, but it motivates you to constantly refine yourself for the rest of your life. And I hope as you continue this lifelong refinement, the refinement of your mind, heart, soul, and character, I hope you make this great discovery, this one great discovery. I hope you discover the holy boldness and sacred madness inside of you, that holy boldness and sacred madness that stirs your soul to love and dream, the one that creates an unstoppable dream that surpasses horizons when it comes true, a dream that builds a stairway for others to climb, to rise, bringing grace and beauty in God's magnificent shining light. I'm grateful for you. I love you, then, now, and always. Brothers, welcome to the club. Let's go prep. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so for as long as I can remember, and probably longer, every prep graduation has ended the same way, and that's a singing of our alma mater. Proud to continue this tradition with you. So I would first invite all of our prep alumni in the audience and on stage to please stand. Not you guys just yet. All of our prep alumni, if you could just please stand. That's pretty cool. Next, the class of 2025, please stand. And then, of course, let's invite the entire faculty, staff, and coaches to please stand as well. Hit it, Steve.
It is our pride and our glory, both in song and in story. And we cherish your name and we love your fair fame. For the days of long ago, and your sons will be loyal to St. Peter so royal. May
So thanks so much to the Prep Band and Vox for leading us. I'd also like to thank Miss Emma Bagg, Miss Katie Epler, Miss Emily Fensick, Mr. Steve Kasowitz, Miss Mackenzie Gelber, Miss Lisa Syracuse, Miss Dalma Santana, Mr. Mike Duran, Mr. John Morris, Miss Kimby Heil, and above all, Miss Grace Galerio for all the work putting this together. Let's give them a big hand. I'd also like to thank, of course, Mr. Kevin Albers and our operations staff for putting this together. This is not easy. This is days of work, so let's thank the operations staff as well. And then lastly, I want to take an opportunity to just thank the person who makes sure that all the trains are running on time every day, that the lights are on, that students and faculty and staff are working as hard as they can, and he probably doesn't get as much credit for probably the hardest job in the school, and that's our principal, Chris Caulfield. So let's thank Mr. Caulfield. Alrighty, and as always, let's close with a prayer. Father Salazar is gonna lead us.
I'd like to invite everyone to stand, please. You may bow your heads or lift up your faces in praise and gratitude, for prayers fly from all directions. God listens and takes delight in all of us. Let us pray. God of our beginnings and endings, this is the day that you have made for us. We rejoice and are glad. As our graduates complete this chapter in their adventure of life, we pray that you strengthen their inmost being with the power of your Holy Spirit, so that Christ may dwell in their hearts through faith, and being rooted and grounded in love, they may grasp the length and the breadth, the height and the depth of the love of your Son, which is beyond all understanding. God of our joys and hopes, you have given our graduates much. Much shall be expected of them. May their accomplishments today become their promise tomorrow to speak for the voiceless, for justice and for peace, to lift up the weak and those who are bowed down, to bring light and comfort to those in dark and lonely places, until all your holy people come at last to rest in you, in the joy of the Maker of all things, who is God forever and ever. Amen. Saint Ignatius, Saint Peter, pray for us.
Thank you, Father Salazar. I now declare the 147th graduation exercises of St. Peter's Preparatory School closed. Thank you and have a great day. Congratulations.
summer, take them home, memorize. Good job.